this game.
I need another heavy. I've got TB and a quick draw.
I want to get fairly tight to it. Now, anybody who's going to be working range, I'm going to need you to fade right on this. And anybody's running short is going to stay towards the top of the call there.
I have you in the Griff. Griffin.
Sounds good.
Well, that's the thing. We got to get to long range. So.
Greetings, Mech Warriors, and welcome to a special event. TheSilken presents Clans versus Inner Sphere. This is going to be an interesting test, I guess you could say, to see the current state of balance for a fully clan team versus a fully Inner Sphere team. Pretty safe to say, had we done this a couple months ago even, we probably would have been highly in favor of the clan team, but we've seen quite a few changes in the last month or so, and we'll have to see, you know, where are we at? You know, is clan still top dog? Is it still viable? A lot of people would probably say no, but the only true way we're going to be able to know is whether we put these mechs into the hands of some of the best pilots in the game, and let them duke it out head-to-head for our enjoyment. We are going to be presenting things slightly differently than last time. The team names, as you see, are ridiculous. I did not choose them. TheSilken and his gang of guys over there came up with these amazing team names. We will have the huge orange Afro Stars, representing clans at the start at the very least, versus the tripping Marsh Hackers, representing Inner Sphere at the start. They will be doing a series of drops with the same rule set for every drop, 8v8, with 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults, on conquest, with no strikes allowed. The interesting thing here that we haven't seen very often is they're trying to take the drop commander element out of it a little bit, in that they're going to force all of the heavies and assaults to spawn in Bravo Lance, so they can't put them off on one side or the other or anything like that. On top of that, we will be doing a King of the Hill style conquest, so only Theta can be captured. That means that most of these mechs will be fighting around a central point, and we won't see too much in terms of light skirmishes off on any of the side points. So, exciting stuff here. It'll be really interesting to see what these two teams can bring to the table and how well they can represent their factions. So, if you haven't seen me before, if you guys are just tuning in for the first time, my name is BanditP17. I'm from the Marine Mechs, and I am doing a lot of shoutcasting lately, and I am enjoying it, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it as well. My companion here is MDM0, also from the Marine Mechs.
Hey guys, glad you thought of a nice word to say there.
It sounded a little weird to me. I almost didn't say it. It's like I'm the doctor now, and you're my companion or some shit. I don't know.
The nurse? Is that what I'm doing?
No,
Yeah.
not the nurse. I'm talking about
Okay.
Doctor Who. How big of a geek are you? Come on.
No comments. I got no comments there.
So I see we got some viewers trickling in and stuff. That's awesome. How many drops exactly are we doing? 6 drops, 3 on each
6
side.
drops. Three and 3, so that both teams have the opportunity to play on the same maps. They play either on each map. They're going to play twice essentially. They're going to play with clan mechs, and then they're going to play with Inner Sphere mechs. So really trying to make this as fair as possible, I guess you could say, in trying to determine, do the mechs really make a difference, you know, between Inner Sphere and clan? What are better? So I think at the very least this will provide some more ammunition for all of those forum arguments and things that everyone likes to say, oh, you know, clan mechs, Inner Sphere, or whatever. I don't know if this will definitively answer it, but it's certainly a good look into how the balance stands now.
Absolutely. Now it's going to be tough to see necessarily what a single mech, how a single mech stands up against another single mech in this instance. It really is a team effort. So this, a lot of the CW guys should probably be watching this too. Just you know, it can kind of support their argument since you are forced into a full clan versus Inner Sphere. But for a lot of us comp guys, we can form a blend, and especially with like MRBC Season 7, they are now unrestricting clan mechs. They're basically equals to IS, so you could bring a full clan deck if you wanted to. So I think a lot of those guys that might be influencing their MRBC drop decks in the future will be watching as well to see what mechs shine, what mechs underperform, and you got to keep in mind that these mechs are under the control of quite a few really good pilots here. Everybody should recognize at least half of the pilots in here. If you don't, you haven't been watching. So this is going to be a really good example because it's not just two guys forming a couple groups and, well, that's exactly what it is, I guess. But they picked their pilots wisely, and I saw a little bit of a preview of their balancing system and how they picked who goes on what team, and it seems pretty well done. Very subjective, of course, but it should be pretty accurate. So I think this is going to be a very even matchup and a really good test. But that's why they're going to do the 3 on either side to make sure that things line up properly.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, these are really good pilots. Just looking at the unit tags running down the lobby here, you know, SJR, Lord, EMP, SRS, We've got some other guys just from other units here, BKMX, things. A lot of units that if you ran into them in Group Q or in CW or even in comp play, you probably would be like, oh man, this is going to be a tough fight. So it's really cool of these guys to offer their time. Silken organized this, went out and kind of semi-recruited, got people interested in it, and guys volunteering say, hey, you know, I'd like to participate. So it's good of these guys, especially these top players, to get in here and try and make a definitive answer to our clan mechs or better, or is it Inner Sphere?
All right, well, it looks like we're going to go ahead and get started now. Let's go take a look.
So our first drop here is on Canyon Network. I entirely expect a poke deck out of both teams. Inner Sphere does, with the quirks and things, I think have the range if they choose to do so. But, you know, with clan mechs, those large pulse lasers still have a very good range for the DPS and the power that they bring. So I'd be curious to see what they do, just in terms of whether they bring out, you know, some of those range, or if the clans want to go brawl.
So I'm over here on the IS side. We've got Stalker 4N with 5 large lasers, 4 large pulse lasers, Stalker 3H, Solitude in a quick draw 5K, 4 ER large laser, and then of course a Jester 4 ER large laser. So IS is going very heavy on the extreme range. They do have the large pulses available to them, but that's going to be an interesting setup. So because they had to spawn in Bravo, obviously they're backed by Sigma, but they sent their lighter guys right up to the front on the right flank here, and they are moving immediately for Theta, or at least for Theta Overwatch.
Yeah, and the clan team, really some ER larges, but also some large pulse lasers and some direwolves that are DACA direwolves. They are also moving up towards Theta as well. Looks like they want to hold that D3 hill and get some overwatch. Already got some engagement here. Salith and the Timberwolf with 4 ER large lasers getting some fire down range on the IS mechs.
So the fire starter that's up on Theta is taking a little bit of scratch damage as he overwatches, and there was a light over on the right side as well. Criven getting really close up on the right side, but we are starting to see some ER large engagement across Theta. Nobody's really challenging it all that much. We do have a couple clan mechs up on it, but for the most part, everybody's sitting back and are comfortable with doing some trades here.
And I'm looking right now at Lord Sky Knight in the Stormcrow. He's one of those mechs on Theta. He has medium lasers and large pulse. It's one of the reasons I think that he moved up, just to get a little bit more in his optimum range. But there's a Stalker right on the other side of Theta here, and that's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, those Stalkers with those high peaks, that's going to be very advantageous for them. But they're playing close to their cover and they're making their peaks, but at the same token, the clan mechs can kind of sit back. They're not worried about those high peaks as much, playing that open position. They can bring those low arms and stuff to bear just fine from that range. You know, if they were pressed up against Theta, that would be a problem for them, but since they are playing kind of a power position back on the back of ramp, that's not affecting them. So that they're playing their mechs very well in those locations. However, they can't really challenge Theta when this is happening. So if somebody does step up and take Theta, clans are eventually going to have to move forward and use those lower mounts.
And I'm watching Infernal Internal here in the direwolf for the clans. He is a DACA direwolf, and he is coming around the corner where these stalkers are. He's trying to see if he can catch one of them, I think. Hanging out a little too far. He doesn't want to push farther than he needs to be, because I think he'll lose his support, but he does want to try and get those Ultra AC 5s into play.
That's a gold direwolf, I might mention.
Yeah, no less. No less than the best for this experiment here.
So we got a Stalker that is up on Theta, and he's going to go ahead and start capturing that. He does have it, and he is going to take a quick poke, but I think wisely he is going to back away and try and get back to where his weapons work best, which is peeking up over that hill. Him and that other Stalker over there are going to do a lot of work. So here we are, the cap game now in favor of the Inner Sphere.
And this direwolf here down on the ramp, Infernal Internal, I think he got a little pinned down in a position he doesn't want to be in. He can't come up that ramp because there's Overwatch for the Inner Sphere firing across, but at the same time, he's kind of stuck down on low ground in a direwolf. That's not exactly a good situation to be in. He's trying to catch the Stalker peeking out, but he's taking a lot of damage in doing so.
So for anybody who might be confused, because I was momentarily confused, the Warhammer, or Warhawk Warhammer that is dead right now is Silken, and he is spectating his team. So,
And Stormcrow just went down
Stormcrow
with the
does
Clan
go
Max.
down. That will be the first death. That was a very good shot by
The
them.
Intersphere does look like they're doing a lot better on the damage right now than the other Clan mechs at this point. Clan seems to be in a little bit of a reverse. They're trying to back off here, and it looks like some of the Intersphere mechs are pushing the advantage.
Ooh, he took a Gauss to the back. That's not going to feel too good. But yeah, the Intersphere lights are moving up. This guy down here is
they
going to
found
get
the
caught
dire
out,
when he
and
goes
he
down.
gets taken down very quickly. So he was separated from the rest of his team, and they jumped on him and took advantage of that very quick. So they are backing up even further, completely conceding Theta to the Intersphere, and are going to just try and get some sort of hold where they can effectively trade
And
from.
another Stormcrow just went down. This Firestarter here, Uncle Russ, is just being
is
a
doing
pain in
some
the rear
work.
end to those Clan
That was
mechs.
definitely a good poke for him. These lights are super aggressive. They're not allowing the clans to get comfortable whatsoever. So these guys are officially backed into a corner. We're about to have a trade on the right side. Oh
And there,
my!
Uncle Russ gets another dire
That
down. He is
fire
just
starter is just
harassing.
tearing people to shreds. The Stalker does take down the Timberwolf, and it's going to be a hunt to the finish right here. Definitely some beautiful, beautiful work by those fire starters, though. That was fantastic. I mean, everybody did their jobs for sure, but I would not doubt seeing a lot of numbers heavily in favor of those fire starters. Let's take a look. I guess Uncle Russ did 2 kills. They must have just swooped in at the end and did their job.
Yeah.
The trades from the rest of their team, ignore what I just said. It was completely wrong. Everybody did fantastic trades, opened up the clan mechs professionally, allowing the fighters to come, fire starters to come in and finish the job. So that's, you know, everybody did fantastic. I mean, even with Russ doing the low damage, he did his job when he needed to, and that was right there at the end, which is where we were paying most attention to them.
Yeah, just looking at the even the mech loadout here, as you would expect, the best scoring clan mech, Timberwolves. 2 Timberwolves doing a very good job getting damage out for the clan team. And of course, for the Intersphere, it's the Quick Draw 5K, Blackjack 3. The Stalkers also scored very well. Those mechs are very powerful still, just being an assault mech with those high hard points. But I think no one should be surprised to see the Quick Draw in a ranged game at the top of the list there.
And that was a win for the Tripping Marsh Hackers representing the Intersphere.
So I think that kind of went how I expected it, especially seeing the clan team bring dire wolves. I don't know necessarily if that's a great solution, but
What would you take
with
instead?
clan mechs, exactly, what would you take? There's not
I mean,
a lot of great,
if you were running a brawl deck,
Yeah.
maybe Executioners.
maybe.
I've seen a lot of them running some pretty brutal small pulse builds. They have jump jets. They have, I'm assuming they run mask on it. I might be wrong, especially with the brawl. Maybe it's not the best idea, but you know, jump jets faster. You know, I've seen a lot more of those around than I've seen Dyers. A lot of people running the Dyers lately. It's been kind of a.
It's just so slow at this
It
point.
really is. It took a big hit when they
Yeah.
nerfed Speed Tweak for sure.
And unfortunately, on a map like Canyon, clan assaults just don't have high hard points.
Absolutely.
It's just, I mean, what are you going to take? Even the Executioner isn't going to give you the high hard points like a Stalker. I mean, the Stalker is a clear head and shoulders better than any assault mech the clans could bring for that situation, for a ranged, peeking behind cover sort of thing. I mean, you just can't do better than a Stalker. And as we saw, those Stalkers did work for the IS. You know, the Timberwolves, I think, still jack of all trades, kind of any situation you put them in. Clearly, we saw those were the 2 best scoring clan mechs, so that doesn't surprise me. But you know, on a map like Canyon with those multiple layers and different levels of cover and things, I think the clan mechs have a disadvantage. The Stormcrow, the best, you know, medium mech for the clans, probably arguably the 2nd best clan mech available right now, is great, but it doesn't have jump jets. You can use the speed to kind of negate that a little bit, but you know, it'd be nice to have a mech kind of like a Shadowhawk right on that map, but you just can't get the same amount of firepower on it. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how Tourmaline goes, because Tourmaline is much more of a level playing field, and just in terms of the altitude that you can engage on. With Canyon, just you really have to have those high weapon mounts. Tourmaline, you can get away with not having that a little more, I think.
Absolutely. And we did see the one large pulse stalker. I didn't catch exactly which guy that was or how much damage he ultimately brought to the table. But we've been seeing a lot of large pulses lately being used pretty effectively, and those stalkers going right up to Theta like that were able to use both their large lasers and large pulse in their optimal range for the most part throughout the battle.
And the other side of that is that side of the map that where Theta is right now, where those stalkers are peaking. You also have a much nicer approach. There's a ramp with that rock there. It's a little easier, I think, on that side of Theta to go up and down and to easily peak a hill. But it's. I think really there's a couple things that maybe strategy-wise the clans would have wanted to do differently. Having that direwolf kind of get caught out on the ramp and basically be pinned down for most of the game certainly hurts, but the IS just offers so many more essentially peaking mechs. So many, the stalkers, the quick draws, mechs that you can stick a weapon around a corner.
And that Jester was doing a fantastic job on that left side too. I think that was Proton actually, which Proton I would say is one of the most dangerous peekers in the game. He likes to sit in the back and just tear people to shreds, and I'm sure he did a fantastic job there as well. He took that far extreme left flank with the ER large lasers and just worked that entire time. Did some fantastic job just putting that fire out.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that Jester was what was keeping that direwolf pinned down on the ramp. Really
completely segregated from his team the entire time. And then not only
really
that, but
punch those stalkers, and he just couldn't.
They had guys far enough on the right side that if the Dire tried to retreat back through the canyon to get to the rest of his team, not going to happen. But I want to say that Dire was bringing UX, so he kind of wanted to be up in front.
And he wanted to be up in front, but
being alone and not really having good support. Yeah, he never brought his guns to bear. Never effectively, anyways, brought his guns to bear.
Yeah, I mean, a couple times he tried to move up when those stalkers got on top of Theta and were just standing there. He tried to move up, and that Jester was right there, just punching him in the mouth every time he tried to, get up to get his guns to bear. And again, he's fighting uphill, and in the direwolf, that's the one thing you don't want to be doing. Those arms are so low to the ground.
I totally intended to use you. I put my instant replay up, but I'm gonna put yours up instead next time.
Oh, well,
in fact, while we're waiting, maybe I'll do it right now. Let's do that. I'm not used to you having that all working, so.
The things I do for you. Also, welcome everyone who's been watching from NGNG. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for coming by, everybody. I hope you enjoy the show for sure. Oh yeah, we got a good view of what that direwolf down in the pit had to go through here. And that's just a very hard place to play. I mean, they're not going to come rolling over that hill. They don't have a reason to. They have Theta, they have poke mechs, so they're just going to sit back and work it. And every time you peek up to try and get something on target, I bet you he starts taking hits from Proton any second now. Or I saw something whip by his cockpit, but he can't peek up that far without getting completely slammed.
Yeah, so here he's coming up the ramp. And you're going to see Proton. You're going to see him start taking damage right now. There he goes. So yeah, I mean, he just got caught way out. And you're right. If the Innersphere mechs had rolled over Theta and pushed the advantage while he was still alive, I mean, that's where that direwolf would have done a ton of damage. We know what a Daka direwolf can do to an enemy team, but there was no reason for them to push forward. And he just, it was unfortunately nothing really he could do when he was that far called out.
Oh man, there's Uncle Russ, and I think he's running an ASIM build too. This might be a right-hand peek and Firestarter, which definitely influences his resolve to peek around the right side here and bring all of his weapons to bear and play it tight. Let's see how tight he plays his cover here. Well, he steps out pretty far, but he lands that shot perfectly. Looks like he might have kind of slid off the edge of the wall, but nobody had any return fire for him whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, by this point, I think the clans were just so disorganized. They were in full retreat. then the inner sphere was just moving up from all angles. They really didn't have any cover at all, just because on Canyon, if you give up the advantage and you start backing off, the proper thing to do for the enemy team is to spread out wide, remove the angles so that you cannot hide from behind cover. And,
Whoa.
you know, at
That
that
was
point,
it.
there's nothing you can do.
Just saw like dude like warped into the air or some crap like that.
Yeah, a little bit at the end there, we got some collisions, I think, between some of these light mechs that got a little funky, but, you know, sometimes that happens, especially on lights.
So going into Tourmaline Desert, same rule set here. What do you think we're gonna see then? I think it's gonna be a lot more of the same. Tourmaline tends to support the stand out there and shoot shit kind of strategy more so than the whack-a-mole. There's a lot less things you can peek over.
And I expect to see the clans keep the same thing and use that stand out and shoot strategy. We've just went over this before. The inner sphere has the better mechs for peeking from behind
For whack-a-mole.
cover. Yeah. So, you know, with the dire wolves, even the storm crows, you know, there's not a lot of high weapon hard points on the best clan mechs. There are clan mechs with high weapon hard points, but they just aren't as good. So I think we'll see that. I think Tourmaline is a little more friendly to that strategy than Canyon is, so we'll see if maybe that kind of evens the game up a little bit, but clearly that first drop was very decisively in favor for Inner Sphere.
The teams are just now learning that they had team names. Surprise!
Yeah.
That's funny.
I
didn't come up with these names, by the way. This is all the TheSilken. TheSilken is the one who ran this entire event. I'm just watching. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Basically, that's the extent of it. But yeah. But yeah, you know, I totally agree with you. With all those like non-asymmetrical builds that typically are required for clan mechs, you know, there are some, you know, but for the most part, a lot of it has to do with, you know, smashing people in the face with clan mechs.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have to play that strategy as a team effectively, which essentially everybody's gonna have to stay together and shoot the same target at the same time. And it's a very nasty place to be in, but if you can do it effectively, you might be able to start putting mechs down. But here we go.
Yeah, and we've seen this before in competitive play. That strategy, when done right, is very, very good.
Yeah.
Because you're just putting so much firepower into a single mech one at a time, and especially against peeking mechs, done right, it's devastating. The trick is doing it right.
And
so
you hear us say it over and over again. We talk about the power position, and that's, you know, I probably coined that phrase, whatever. I love saying it. Lots of ER medium, ER large. So definitely a good high reach deck. But with the thing with the power position is you can have a mobile power position, and we're gonna have an immediate trade across the Epsilon Theta border here. Let's see what they can bring to the party.
And that Epsilon Theta border is actually light mechs on this side.
They do have a crow who just drilled his lasers into the ground. I'm not sure. There he goes. Now he's entering the fight. That's what we're looking for. I'll just leave the names up. It's stuttery. Deal with it. I like seeing who the pilots are. I'm sure you guys do too. It's just that's not my computer doing that. That's post-patch. They changed the refresh rate of UI elements, and unfortunately this was a unintended consequence of that. So, but I love seeing percentages and names. So what do we got here? We got a nice big ball up, as predicted, of the clan mechs, but they are playing whack-a-mole with this position though. So I don't know if this is going to complement them too much. And then the IS team over on the other side, they're using their high peaks and points and stuff like that to reach over that hill. Bowser taking quite a bit of damage in his direwolf over here.
And it's a tough strategy to be in for a direwolf, unfortunately. You don't have the maneuverability to be able to peek quickly.
This style of gameplay, I feel like this is working against them. You guys may notice the other thing they did with this last patch is they made it so lasers thin out as they reach the end of their range, and as you can see, that ER large laser there got really thin. It still hit him and did damage, but I kind of like that change. I think that's pretty cool. It doesn't just stop in midair. It kind of goes to a point now, so you really get a good sense of how close to the end of the rope was he when that shot hit.
Yeah.
So Bowser now down to 62, mostly to his CT, which I'm not surprised. It's very hard to torso twist off damage in a direwolf. It's a very slow twist, and it's a very big CT. He's kind of forced to face tank it, and now he's stuck in a corner and unable to effectively bring all of his weapons to bear. Dual Gauss, 3 ER large lasers. He needs that face time, and I would say that Bowser is going to be kind of ineffective at this point. Not by choice, obviously, but he's going to get one last hurrah with a good peek, and then he's going to die, basically. Yeah. Who dropped the strike? It's not supposed to have any strikes.
And then we go.
Well, I guess that's a 100,000 C-bill fine for them. Oh, here it comes. Oh, this is the other direwolf. He's going to get shredded down, too. Fighting 1v2. Overstepped his cover, and there he goes.
Down he goes.
And Bowser's right behind him. He's like, nope. Not going that way. So, I mean, this is a really rough place, and I'm sure the Firestarter is going to come up here soon and start doing work now that they're up and have been doing really good trades. But this is, you know, I feel like the only thing that would have worked for them here would be to play that power position role. Maybe even a mobile power position, not so much with the direwolves, unfortunately, but bottom line, if you're gonna try to play to the strengths of clans, it's gonna have to involve a lot of armor sharing and a lot of face time. So you know, maybe not necessarily do a brawl, but almost like an ER large laser brawl style thing.
And another mech goes down for the clan team. They are now down 2 mechs, but they did get a kill, and now 3 mechs. They managed to kill a Raven for the Inner Sphere, but unfortunately now I think those light mechs really are going to start doing some work here.
You got Selith on top here, Bowser on the bottom, and Inner Sphere is starting to close in with their Blackjack. And we got a little bit of a light battle over here. The Jenner 2C and Arctic Cheetah are down in the pit versus Uncle Russ. Fight of the century right here. He's got Blackjack Overwatch, so it is a 2v2 fight. But they're not able to put enough on Uncle Russ to take him out. So now these guys are in a very bad, nasty position down here. Selith in the timber does end up going down, and they're going to jump all over him now. So good luck, Core Knight. Rest in peace. And he does go down.
And yep, that's it.
And Arctic Cheetah back over on this side. And then, of course, Bowser, who's cored out center torso, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner. I left his nameplate up to see what happens to him. See if anybody's closing on Bowser right now. We got the Blackjack coming over to take a peek.
And he does get a good shot on that Blackjack, but man, those Blackjacks have a ton of internal structure now. He is still alive.
Bowser's got to get a good shot. Oh, yep. See, he did the torso twist, but that CT is so gigantic
so big
and so easy to kill that all it takes is a slight professional adjustment by X Chico to take out that. I'm assuming that's how you say his name. I'm sorry if I butchered that. To take out that CT, even with a 90-degree rotation. And that's all she wrote. Clans go down again. It is now 2-0 in favor of Tripping Marsh Hackers. One thing to note is after the third match is completed, we will have these teams switch sides. So if there is any imbalance on the player side of things, it should hopefully even out when they go back in and play these maps again.
Yeah.
Yep.
So looking at the end of the round scoreboard here, big surprise, we have the top 3 performers being 2 quick draws and Blackjack. I think we all know right now where the true power lies in the Mech Warrior universe.
Battlemasters did a fantastic job with Vonka and Proton pulling over 200 damage each. Very respectable numbers all around, though.
And we will point out that the Inner Sphere, in true Freebirth fashion, did drop a illegal strike that round. So I guess you can take from that what you will, but I think the game probably would have turned out the same either way.
Yep, absolutely. It didn't look like it really made contact with anybody. It didn't really affect anything. It just kind of walked its way up one of the walls. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing things swinging very heavily in favor of Inner Sphere here, but definitely need people to kind of chillax for a little bit. When we go into drops 4, 5, and 6, we're going to have those teams switched and see if there is a pilot discrepancy, with, in the hands of Vonka and Proton and those guys, Solitude, put the clan mechs in their hands. Kriven, Chico, Bearclaw, Uncle Russ, what can those guys do with those clan mechs? So, absolutely don't want to downplay, Selith, Bowser, Cornite and all those guys over there on the other side, but we're not going to know what's going to happen until we get to the 6th drop, to be perfectly honest. Pop over to your stream. Let's take a gander. So I'm just starting. What the heck?
Yeah, and I think you were right at the beginning too. I think the clans probably again did a strategy that didn't exactly play to the strength of their mech. But the other point is these are teams that haven't been practicing together. It's not like it's a comp team that's been playing in tournament after tournament together. They know what each other's going to do. It's very hard to do a power position with guys that you've never played with before. So, it's tough to ask them to do that. Maybe it would have worked better, but when you got 8 guys, you just throw them together. They're all great players, but you like to kind of let them do their own thing. And I think that's what both teams are trying to do at this point. They might have a little bit of strategy, a little bit of drop calling, but it certainly seems like they're kind of letting everyone freestyle it a little bit. Just try and win your own personal trades.
Absolutely. How are you jumping into cockpits? Are you able to double click on the mech to jump in? Like the mech itself?
Oh, I clicked the mech and then hit the first person view button.
Oh, V. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Well, that's cool. I didn't realize that you could select them and do that. I always thought that V was more of a get out of the cockpit tool instead of a get into the cockpit, so I'll tie that in a little bit more too myself. Always learning something new with the
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
spectator tool. Does make it a lot easier to try and find where the action is and hop into a cockpit.
I do apologize for the camera motion on the replays. Bandit has a nice controller. I do not. I'm using a keyboard for this.
One thing to note, and what you could possibly do as well, is I learned that if you hit P to click on a mech, you can click on the map to move your camera to that location.
Yes.
So you could zoom around that way instead of doing P again and then WASD and all that jazz. You might be able to tie that in a little bit. But that's completely unrelated to what we're watching right now, which is, as you can see here, with Infernal Eternal, that low left-hand laser there just drilling into the wall.
Yep.
Really needs that face time to be able to effectively use his firepower, but the whole time every time he tries to make a decent peek, he gets pretty much drilled in the face by flashlights, it looks like, with that new effect. It kind of looks like little flashlights in a foggy room. It's pretty funny at those extreme ranges.
Yeah, and the like we said before, the power position probably would be the better strategy, but it's so hard to do with an uncoordinated team, a bunch of guys playing together for the first time, or officially playing together for the first time, I guess you could say. But I'm interested to see what the clans decide to do for this next drop.
Let's back that up again.
That
Let's see where that strike is there.
Oh,
we said IS, but I mean, maybe it was just a misclick or something by somebody. But let's... I mean, it went in the direction of the clans. Not that any of this truly matters, and clearly it didn't hit anybody. At least it didn't seem like it did, but... Controversy, man!
Yeah.
Ultra
like I said,
controversy.
Freebirds.
Those stinking Freebirds have no honor.
Yeah. breaking the rules of engagement. It's just,
See, now
everyone's living up to lore. I like it.
now Silken's saying, IS can drop a strike in round 5 there, it's even. Well, now they're going to be like, well, shit, let's place that strike perfectly and make it count. The whole match is over. Everybody go home. We've ruined the integrity of the match. It's all over. Nothing to see here. No, it's still going to be good stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be interesting to watch. For sure.
I would be interested to see if the Clan Mexico brawl this next game. I really think they might want to try something new. I mean, clearly they're getting outranged. Frozen City Night, you can brawl it.
Oh, Frozen City Night. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think we're going to see a brawl.
I think we're going to see a brawl.
I think we're going to see small pulse SRMs, which if clans truly have any strength, I think clans small pulse SRMs are still incredibly strong, and I've seen them used pretty well. The one downside, of course, you lose the side torso, it slows you down, and of course you lose the heat sinks and whatever's on that side, but that could slow things down a little bit. But I've seen brawl crows and stuff still used very effectively.
Yeah. And the only interesting thing, though, is if Inner Sphere also goes brawl, because there's so much armor to blow through now on the Inner Sphere side. Will that make a difference?
The structure, for like a blackjack, killing a blackjack takes work, and it's a medium. That's its strength, is that it was already, a glass cannon, a surgical tool back in before the patch, but then they're like, here, take like 30 freaking structure. Why not? That's an entire Alpha Strike additional per component, for Christ's sake. I mean, that's not the exact numbers, but that's what we're seeing there, and that's brutal. That is definitely brutal. Oh, Bowser almost took that blackjack down. Almost got that blackjack. He had some good Overwatch there, and then here comes the other blackjack, and here comes the 90-degree twist. And he goes down. Like my sound effects, they're my best quality.
That's actually how he is.
That's actually how,
every game that he plays.
And actual ladies, yeah, you're damn right there, Ricky. How you doing, man? It's weird that this is live. I'm not used to this, so I could be like, hi, Ricky, and he could be like, hey, Bandit, in a timely manner. You know what? While we're waiting, let's go ahead and do a giveaway. Why not? Bam.
Yeah.
Somebody else do it. Somebody else do it.
I will do it.
I won something.
Nightbot, man, I swear to God.
This is the best day ever.
Alright. Dave GT27, congratulations. I'm going to go ahead and send you some premium time. I will send the message to you after the stream is completed. Go ahead and give me a follow if you haven't already. Well, yeah, you haven't followed this channel, Dave. Come on, man. What you doing?
Man.
You like seeing some exciting competition shoutcasts? Well, make sure you hit that follow button, and then it'll help it so I can send you the premium time codes. And if you don't want them, you can give them to somebody else, but I'll let you do that. They are yours. But yeah, otherwise it'll go into your spam folder on Twitch if you don't follow me. And some people I've run into where it's like, this person doesn't accept messages from people they're not following. Well, thanks a lot. So, I mean, a little early to say right now, but, do you feel that clans are a little bit underpowered, or do you feel like everything's pretty well balanced at this point? I'm leaning onto the underpowered portion just because of the It's not because clans necessarily got a giant nerf bad. I mean, the losing the
Yeah.
torso sucks, but they still are in the same boat with their hard points and their positioning and stuff. Some of them did lose some positive quirks, but they didn't really have too many positive quirks to begin with that were massively influenced. I really think that this comes down to the massive survivability quirks for the most part that were given to Inner Sphere. Like, Inner Sphere just got a gigantic buff. And, you know, I'm sitting here in my Inner Sphere mechs like, wow, this is great, everything's balanced, but all those clanners might have a legitimate argument that this isn't balanced, this is too far, you know? So, you know, should we be seeing maybe some positive quirks given to the clans to offset it? I mean, you got this huge quirk list that when you want to play a mech, the first thing you look at, what is it quirked for, what hard points does it have equipped to it, and where are they located? And all these other things that you look at when you first build a mech. Well, first thing you look at is meta mechs and just copy paste. That's what I do. But and then I play with it. But anyways, I digress. You look at the quirk list to see what complements it the most. You don't do that with clan mechs. You know, you say, I want to throw a bunch of omnipods on it and do something. And that the omnipod system is still very advantageous, but IS can reach farther, they can fire faster, they can do it cooler, and they can live through more.
Yeah, and I think I will jump in here because this is a personal belief of mine, but I would love to see fewer quirks. And now stay with me for a second. And it goes back to, I think Trev pointed this out in chat, but it just gets to be this power creep, right? You know, oh, IS mechs get all these buffs, or some IS mechs get all these buffs. You're right in chat, there are certainly some IS mechs that are still garbage, just like clan mechs. But then, you know, they get all these buffs, and then the solution is, oh, well, let's buff some clan mechs. And I'd rather see us tone down the buffs, and then maybe tone down, you know, if you're concerned about time to kill, things like that, maybe tone down some other things to go along with it. I know, everyone, deep breath, I'm almost more of a fan of nerfs than buffs. I'd rather see overpowered mechs, weapons, etc. get restricted a little bit than trying to buff all of the underpowered ones.
Well,
because
the downside of buffing everything is time to kill decreases significantly.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you get these like, oh, he made one tiny mistake and his mech is now dead on the ground. Congratulations.
Well, and the other problem with it, though, is if you try and balance by buffing non-OP mechs, by just the nature of OP mechs or OP anything, right? Only a few things are OP. So you have to buff so much more, and inevitably things get left behind, they get forgotten, they just, you know, don't quite get balanced as much as other ones, and you just always have garbage mechs, and we've got that problem now. I'd much rather see mechs that are a little too strong be pulled back a little bit into kind of the fold of, okay, if we pull these back, now other mechs are made viable simply because, you know, there aren't necessarily better options in all circumstances. I'd rather see that. I know I said the bad word, I said nerfs, but I'm a fan of them if applied correctly.
Scrandom says that buffing the defense obviously doesn't lower TTK, but same token, we did see a lot of beneficial offensive quirks added, and on the same token as well, they did do across the board nerf of these skill trees, definitely slowing things down a little bit. And then, of course, rebuffing IS with acceleration, deceleration quirks, things, torso twist speed quirks and stuff like that to offset that nerf. So, I mean, I definitely can't say, and that's true. Now, keep in mind, yeah, the Atlas is incredibly difficult to kill right now, and that's fantastic, but pair that with the 4 sets of tubes and the decrease in ghost heat made it even more powerful than if they had just buffed its structure. Like, being able to willy-nilly alpha strike an AC-20 and 4 SRM-6s without penalty. I mean, you're seeing these Atlases marching into these battles and dealing 300 to 400 damage before they're dead. Like, that's... And if you leave them alone, they do 600, 700 damage easily. So, but, you know, I understand what you're saying for sure with that. And the Blackjack did lose some laser duration. It was already a very powerful mech, though. The structure bonuses definitely increased the time to kill for sure. So I guess just saying that, you know, time to kill is overall decreased. I guess time to kill is overall decreased on clans. Let's put it that way.
All right, well, let's see what they choose to do. I'm taking a look right now at the Atlas, the IS Max. See, I already gave it away. Seeing Atlases,
The Atlas
two Atlases. I'm looking at the Atlas side right there. We're talking about them, and there they are.
Oh, we
on
have
the
an
map.
ER large quick draw with Solitude paired with, you know, Brawler Atlases. A little bit of a mixed deck here. Medium laser, large pulse laser, Black Knight. I've been seeing a lot more Black Knights lately. Seems to me like maybe they're coming
And
back.
IS is going Brawl. I'm seeing Small Pulse and SRM Timberwolves. Small Pulse Novas, those things are wicked. There's a Dacker Direwolf on the field and another Dacker Direwolf on the field. So this is going to be pure Brawl, it looks like, for the clan teams. They're probably just going to try and use their speed to their advantage. Those Timberwolves are fast for the firepower they pack. You know, in the Nova's not necessarily a slow mech, but they also have a Stormcrow, which is certainly a fast medium.
Alright, so we got Uncle Russ with Overwatch in saddle, just taking a peek where they're moving, what they're doing. Not really taking any shots there, but he's getting information and dropping UAVs. We did have a Timberwolf come up and drop his own UAV as well. Not a really hard brawl rush here. Everybody's kind of just sitting.
No, and the IS mechs looks like they're ready to receive. These two Atlases are just standing on the other side of saddle, just waiting for them.
One thing to note is, well, nobody's playing for Theta right now. We do have a sneaker coming through the tunnels here with Cornite. That's going to be kind of interesting just to see if he... But somebody had a seismic clearly because Criven is on the hunt. No jump jets for him, though, so it's going to be the long way to get up. And if Cornite knows what he's doing, which he absolutely does, he's getting the hell out of Dodge. So, good move by them, but I bet you Proton's sitting here.
Yep. And
That
Black
sucker's
Knight
got a freaking seismic and knows what's coming through tunnels. So good move by him, setting up there, getting that information, and taking away that potential flank. But Cornite did get out the door, did take a lot of shots to the face, but he could have gathered some information while he was out there. Hey, they have two Atlas S's standing right out in the open. That's good information. That's good to know.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the quick draw Solitude up here with ER large lasers, able to put down a little bit of long range fire, but they do have a sizable brawl group ready to go.
Yeah, and the clans are going to have to figure out how they want to approach this. I still think their best approach is over dropship. They're just going to have to try and maybe get those Atlases down. But IS has a couple range mechs that just simply can do damage at a range that the clans cannot return fire. So they're going to try and do that. It looks like we've got a light
Russ
mech in the tunnel.
Getting a little bit of trades in on air side there.
Yep.
I hope you guys aren't stream sniping. Don't stream snipe, guys. No delay.
So yeah, I think the IS with their ranged mechs are content to just sit here, get Overwatch, and wait for the clans to make a move. And they, at some point, they're gonna have to. Although they did cap Theta on the clan side.
Okay. So tickets
they're
are
gonna
moving.
maybe they're going to try and force the IS team to push by caps.
Well, I mean, they do have a Jenner Oxide and a Firestarter S that could go cap it
Yeah,
back
they could go
with
cap it
relative
back.
ease, but looks like they are going to give a little bit of Overwatch down there. But they currently, percentage-wise, have an advantage over the two Arctic Cheetahs in a 2v2 fight. And Oxides in general are freaking ridiculous right now. I'd like to see that Oxide and Firestarter versus two Cheetahs. That'd be a fun little fight to watch.
And Cornite at 74%, and his Arctic Cheetah is actually not too bad on the armor, but his arm is open up. It's one of the downsides of running an Arctic Cheetah. You lose so much firepower when you lose an arm, and those arms come off pretty quickly. And here goes, those two light mechs there are actually headed towards Gamma. And I don't know if the clan team has any idea where they are. But it looks like the clan mechs are making a push over saddle, so maybe at this time they're going to go into Brawl. We're going to jump down here into a Direwolf and see if we can get into the action here.
It's going to be a hell of a rush.
Yeah,
First guy coming over is going to get wrecked. Here we go, RSI. Do your worst! 71% after one volley. dead after 2 volleys.
Oh, and the
That's
Timberwolf
all it
backed up.
takes. Oh, and then, yeah, Infernal
Direwolf
backing
wasn't
up,
able to
blocking
get
his
into the fight
Direwolves
'cause
in.
Timberwolf backed up.
Yeah, that's brutal. When you're going into a last-ditch brawl move, you can't back up and hold up 2 assaults.
Yeah.
But Proton comes in behind the Direwolves and starts backcoring them both. Not much they can do about it. Let's see if they can get some fire here from Bowser. Oh, he is getting completely jumped on by those lights now.
Yeah, and he's down.
Oh, brother. I mean, I honestly think it was probably not looking too good for the Clanners coming over as it is, but not being able to bring your Daka over the hill because they run straight into the back of the
you can't
Timberwolf.
stop preventing 2 Daka Direwolves from getting into a brawl, man. You can't do that.
And
That's
that
tough.
is all
It's very
she
tough.
wrote. So, 3-0 in favor of the current Inner Sphere team, Tripping Marsh Hackers. However, we are going to switch them over.
So now's where we find out how the balance really is, or if this is just a matter of maybe the pilots are a little bit better on one side or the other.
Absolutely. There's
So
the
keep in
scoreboard
mind
for
when
it.
we're doing this, the teams will essentially simply swap technology and places. They will be spawning in the same location as the clan mech spawned previously, just with different players in the mechs. So you can essentially almost think of this as the pilots are getting out of their mechs, walking across the battlefield, and getting into the opposite mech sort of thing.
Sounds to me like the Afro Stars are missing a couple of their big players too, so that's yet another example of, if Afro Stars continues to lose, it most likely then would have been a player balance issue, and not necessarily clan versus IS. But we'll see what happens here going into drop 4. We are going back to Canyon Network, right?
Yes, Canyon Network, same thing. Clans are Team 1, Inner Sphere's Team 2. Same lances that they have to spawn in. Like I said, the only difference is going to be which pilots are in the clan mechs versus which pilot are in the Inner Sphere mechs.
So I did switch the 2 teams over, so it should be the same as what shows up in game. So that should carry over. The scores followed the teams, obviously, but the left side is still the clan side. Now let's get a little bit further into the action with this replay here. Yep, there's that seismic there from, was it Proton?
Yeah, that was Proton, I believe, in the Black Knight.
I think it was in a Griffin, actually.
Was he in a Griffin?
Yeah, I think it was a Brawler Griffin, SRMs. Which is a brutal mech for the same reason I was saying before with the 4 SRMs, no ghost heat penalty. Alpha strike those SRMs all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, the spread being tighter especially too. Can't take that away from him either. The fact that the SRMs are like a frickin'... They basically installed a turkey choke instead of a skeet choke.
Yeah.
Essentially, if you could
Yeah,
put it that way. If anybody catches my drift on the Sporting Clays reference there, or the shotgun reference in general. But yeah, they are a much tighter spread. Pair that with Artemis and it's even worse. Holy crap. So it goes where you tell it to go, and then it all comes down to, are you telling it to go to the right place? So...
Yeah. And again, we're seeing the discussions in chat, about balance. Obviously, that's what this whole thing is about. I think Trev's right here in chat. We're really going to find out these next 3 drops about the balance. It's hard to say when it's the same team versus the same team. Now that we're swapping technologies, everything else being the same, this is where the answers come from. And I do think there's a good point brought up earlier in the chat. I just didn't get a chance to respond to it, but it definitely seems so far, and like I said, we're going to find out more as we finish this up, that the IS mechs just in general have better mechs that are better at peeking, and they have mechs that are better at brawling, and as long as you've got the right mech for the right situation, you will be better than clan mechs. Now,
So,
like I said, we'll find out whether that's accurate or not, but it feels like that, I think, at this point, at least to me.
so here's the question then. So to try and maintain some sort of consistency, do you think then that the current clan mechs should go ranged for the first 2 drops here and then brawl for the third? Just to keep it the same thing we've been seeing, but now swap sides, or play to win. I mean, we were making comments earlier that, okay, well, clans, we feel, are more powerful when playing power positions as opposed to peak positions. So now if God forbid they go in there, this new team coming in there with clan mechs decides to follow that advice, or maybe they just have a different way of doing things and then win because of it, that's... I guess they should just straight up play to win. I mean, I don't even know what I'm saying. Just play to win. Win with clans. Prove to us that clans can still pull the work here. And I guess, if anything, it would prove to us that there was definitely a pilot discrepancy in this instance, at least slight enough to force things in one way or the other. But if we see like a 6-0, holy shit! Like,
yeah. And
that means TheSilken's going to have to do it again and scramble the teams.
I think the other thing that I want to point out for that pilot skill is people have to remember, when you're talking about some of the best players in the game, it doesn't take much.
That's
true. It
true.
really doesn't. And we've seen maybe some places, obviously, that Timberwolf backing up, probably thinking about it again, wouldn't want to do that. But it... I think it's so easy to say, oh, this team is clearly better than the other team. Yes and no. I would bet the difference in skill is probably pretty small compared to what you'd usually see, at least in Group Q, things like that. But, at this level of play, you can't make a mistake.
I just had to come back to this because I saw Airside talking in chat. Sorry, man. Oh, that wasn't a good view. I gotta fix that.
Yeah, I'm
We're having a little bit of a longer intermission here. We got some time to fill, mainly because they are switching over to opposite sides, opposite mechs and stuff like that. So everybody left lobby, and that's the primary reason why it's going to take a little bit longer here. But rest in peace, Airside. 1, 2. That's all it took. 2. Oh, but there's that Timberwolf. Get out of the way. Oh, I'd be screaming.
Oh, man, that's brutal. That is brutal.
Oh, but the frickin'... How did Proton get back there? Did he just jump over their heads and just start...
track of him, yeah.
I gotta look at that again. Because I saw when it was happening, he's up here. He's up on the right.
Yep.
I honestly think he's straight up jump jets over this wall and just lands behind them. Like, frickin' Cal-I shit right there. Oh, well, okay, he walks right in front of him, drills that Timberwolf. Oh, he just walks around behind.
He did do some jump jetting, but not
as... Yeah, I think... Yeah. Okay, Proton, next time just go over the wall. It would have been cooler.
Yeah,
that was
not as...
That was not as epic and, and amazing as I thought it originally was. But you are a slippery bastard, I'll give you that. And you got in there and you did your work. For sure. They had no mercy from Proton right there. And then he got the backup from those 2 lights, too.
Yeah, Proton, next time we try and set you up for such a cool moment. And
try to read my mind ahead of time, please.
Try and make sure that you make it look cool for us watching.
Oh, boy. Alright, so we are back to Canyon Network, then. Obviously, the teams are switching sides. Still the same rule set. Will be interesting to see what they can bring to the table. That's... The last time on this, the clans did kind of play that open power position, but essentially conceded Theta to get it.
Yeah, they played it, but they didn't spread out, and on Canyon, I think if you can spread out and hold your position, you're just in such a better situation.
See,
than when
though,
you're
that
up.
kind of I feel like that kind of contradicts what we were talking about with power position with clan mechs, because if you spread out, then you end up in the peak game, and you're peeking these
Yeah.
big ass clan mechs around little corners.
Yeah, and that's why I think Canyon is a very hard map for clan max.
That's true. I'm not gonna argue with that whatsoever.
Proton special attack is normal SRMs. I like it.
Proton one punch Spetsnaz. Who said down 2 people? You guys got to keep in mind that TheSilken is spectating and kills himself at the beginning of the match. So if you see a dead person on Team 1, it's him, and it doesn't count. Oh, down. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. I think, what was it?
It not down 2 people. There's a whole list of people more than just 8.
Yeah.
And so 2 of the people that were expected to show couldn't make it.
Psychoholic was one of them, which
kinda
I
think
I
of
would
as
put
alternate.
Psychoholic probably in the top 10 players in the game.
Yeah.
So not having him is definitely painful. So that's why going into this 4th match and stuff, I think it's going to be most likely a closer match, but really everybody probably put their clan mechs into the don't defend those embarrassing deaths of TheSilken. Yeah, you suck, man. Jeez.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's died every single game. First death. That's pretty bad.
But
Something's got to change.
I think everybody put
That
their
is.
clan mechs in the warehouse and had to dust them off for this event.
Yeah, maybe this delay between streams might be the true indicator of balance. They've got to get the dust off the clan mechs. Remember what the password was.
Get
for
the
start
hand
of
back.
segments. Yeah. It's been so long since they've been out on the battlefield.
I do love this soundtrack, by the way. You can't really hear it, but this is the Timothy Seals remix of MechWarrior 2.
Oh yeah, that is a good one.
I love just playing this shit behind my streams and stuff. This guy's a genius. But in general, MechWarrior 2 had, in my opinion, the best soundtrack of any MechWarrior game ever. And I saw that since we're just filling time here, I saw on Reddit somebody's doing a Let's Play of MechWarrior 3. Oh my god, is that a blast to the past right there. This is Shivaxi did a entertaining Let's Play of MechWarrior 3. He just released his first episode. And I watched the whole thing all the way through, and I'm just like, man, I loved this game. It was a great game. The mechanics in that game were fantastic. Obviously, MechWarrior 4 was flashier and stuff, but you made a lot of really good points. Like, remember, did you play MechWarrior 3?
I'm gonna be honest here. I started with MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries.
Ah, you suck.
So I am.
Just imagine with me, if you will, that you take a laser shot across the chest, and instead of just seeing a black mark or a bunch of pock marks and stuff, you see the internals of your mech, like, hanging out and shit like that. And that's in a game that was made, 15 years ago or something. That game was great. And then MechWarrior 4 comes out, and it's like, we're gonna just do the bare minimum to just push this out.
All I want to say is MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries had Solaris with Duncan Fisher.
Good old
and that
George
was
Ludo.
The best. But like I said, I'm a new breed of MechWarrior fans. If you haven't noticed, I'm fairly young. I played MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries until my eyes bled, sort of thing, because I loved it so much. I actually tried to play it, recently booted it up maybe a couple months ago. After playing MechWarrior Online, you know what? There are certain things that certainly need to be improved, I think, with MechWarrior Online, but the game looks good, to me at least. And you run it in high settings especially, it looks good. The mechs look good. The artist did a great job, I think, making the appearances of the mech just look great. Tried to boot up MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries, and it just wasn't the same. It was like I was trying to do things that I used to do in MechWarrior Online. You can't do them in MechWarrior 4 and all that stuff, and I was like, there's a lot of good memories there. I don't think I'm going to play it again.
Man, hard case. Yeah, I do remember that, man. Remember the good old days. You got your PPC in your arm. You aim at the guy. It's bouncing around, so you got to kind of wait for the right exact moment. Your crosshair's moving as you walk in. You pull the trigger, and oh, now you're facing this way because that frickin' PPC just launched out that side. That's some good shit, like right there, man. So immersive. I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get off Phoenix Gray's lawn. I will.
Damn kids.
Yeah, kids these days. Didn't know the good old days of MechWarrior.
Absolutely. Oh, they're starting to get in the lobby now. We should see.
That's okay. You can let PGI know though that I will pay damn good money to have the MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries Hellhound. I know it's not canon, it's not lore based. I would pay damn good money to have that mech in MechWarrior Online.
I gotta look at this. Hellhound. That was the Hellhound, huh? I want to see an Uziel. How far off are we from like an Uziel?
Uziel's what? 56?
Oh, and a
I want to say
Fenrir.
56. I'm pulling that out of my rear end there.
Fenrir would be pretty cool too. That was always a pretty slick looking mech right there.
Yeah, Dell knows what's up. It was awesome looking. It was the best looking mech in MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries. Gonna go out on a limb. I'm not. You know what? I'm not even going out on a limb. There's no argument there. It was the best looking mech in MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries.
Let's see if I can. Why is my freaking replay? Oh, it's because it's not on the right tab. I'll just throw window capture. Sure, why not?
I'll see what you do now. Now we're black screened.
Ah, that was a second ago. I'm fixing it.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, for those of you curious why we're just shooting the breeze about mech. See, look at that mech right there on stream. For those of you curious why we're shooting the breeze, we're just waiting for the clan sides. They're still cleaning their mechs off. I think might have forgotten the passwords to get the startup sequence. You know, it's been a while, so we'll hopefully have them in the lobby here soon and get started.
Oh man, but yeah, this one right here, the freaking, I think that was a Fenrir, right? I might be horribly wrong. Let me see.
I gotta wait for the stream to catch up to you.
A blood asp. Thor.
That is a good looking mech too. That is the Fenrir.
Linebacker.
Yeah.
There's a linebacker. Is that what a Hellhound is? Is it like one of those things where it's named two different?
The Hellhound, I think, if I remember correctly, technically it was supposed to be a Conjurer or something like that. But then they just made it look completely different from what the actual lore mech is. It's basically not. It's just not canon. It's MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries like decided they wanted a cool looking mech, so they made one.
They just made one. Why not?
Shadowcat's a good looking mech in MechWarrior Online too, though.
So what did you think? What did you think of the pulse laser setup, or that mount on the tip of the vulture, the Mad Dog? Like it was on like a gimbal and it could shoot up and down and sideways, and then of course they had the pew 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 pulse lasers.
You know, if you're trying to hold someone there for as long as you can, it makes sense to have weapons on a turret.
Citricard, I will hold them as long as I can. They've breached the palace grounds or whatever, or I've made enemy contact with on a palace grounds.
Those videos are cheesy as hell, but you gotta love it.
This mech looks freaking ridiculous. Arctic Wolf. Just on some random guy's DeviantArt.
Yeah, it works.
That's the Hellhound, though. So you like that Hellhound, huh? It's pretty high peaks. I mean, look at that. You got a laser mount, 2 laser mounts, and a freaking missile mount.
Yeah, I think the stock loadout was like 2 large lasers, a LBX-10, and an SRM-6. It was pretty wicked. And it's a medium.
Adder. I wonder if did the Adder have the stupid flamer like forced on it?
You know, I don't remember, to be honest. But
it's weird. It's got like this armor.
Adder wasn't a bad mech.
separated.
It depends what you want. Like if you took things into Solaris, you take the Hellhound. Definitely was the best. I think medium in Solaris. Maybe the Stormcrow Ryokan was what it was in MechWarrior 4. MechWarrior. The greatest intro to MechWarrior game is MechWarrior 3.
Pitbull.
You know, I think there are a lot of great openings, a lot of cheesy openings, but that's what makes them so great. The only one that really stinks is like the MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries one. That's lousy. They didn't do anything with that.
The opening for the Mercenaries, that was the lamest thing I've ever seen.
I know.
I liked the live action. It was corny as hell, but I liked it.
It was awesome.
It was like, oh man, there's actual people getting into mechs and stuff.
Yeah.
Looks like everybody's in the lobby. We're just waiting for them to ready up at this point. So we're almost there, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm going to go ahead and do another freaking giveaway. Why not? Let's do it. Do it. Oh, somebody else. Autumn, can you do it?
MechWarrior 2 Mercs intro.
Giveaway, because mine are rigged, apparently.
Is that the one with the...
MechWarrior 2 is like, I'm not getting paid enough to die.
Look at it. Look on the bright side, kid. At least you get to keep all
Catapult
the money.
on the rise! Oh, jeez. Petzel
Didn't
one?
they, we had a reenactment a year or two ago when the Clan Mechs dropped? Maybe it was a year ago.
I'm giving it to Petzel.
The community video with the MechWarrior 2 opening.
What was it? What are you talking about?
The community remake of MechWarrior 2. I'll post it in chat.
Oh, where they did it in MWO? Yeah.
I just posted it in chat for everyone. You can watch that. Let me get this.
Great. That's why we call our unit leader HQ, because he's British and has just because he's got a British
just because he's got a British accent.
And he sounds like HQ. Oh boy. Alpha Assault, this is HQ. What is your situation?
Got bandits all over me. Hip actuators out. Let's see if I remember. I never even played MechWarrior 2, and I can remember the lines from the opening. So that's I don't know what to say. I don't have any defense. I can't defend myself against that. I'm sorry.
Summoner. The summoner jumped up, got PPC'd by those big ball PPCs. And then he's got PPCs, and he's like, machine guns. Machine guns. Machine guns.
Vorpal is asking, is it weird that his favorite's the Mech Commander opening? It is only weird if you think Mech Assault is a good game.
Mech Commander.
I know. That's just a dig at Mech the Dane. I hope he's in chat. If not, I'm gonna make fun
I
of him
thought
anyway.
Mech Assault was, when I played it, I was like, this is a joke. Why am I blowing up a building and running over power-ups? This is like console garbage, and I'm a huge PC guy. I'm a huge PC guy, but no, Mech Commander, that was with the Raven being chased by the Timberwolf, and he gets caught in a corner, and he's like, this sucks! And then the dude shoots the Timberwolf in the back, and that was bad. And then the Timberwolf turns around to shoot back, and then the frickin' Raven shoots him in the back. It's like the best frickin'... I like that one. Good job, Commander. Good job. No, that was great.
Yeah.
Vorpal,
Okay, at least we
game's
have
great.
Kamikaze Viking from the Eisengrim in here to hear me make fun of Mech the Dane and his irrational love for Mech Assault 2.
Refound Lost Tech in some random apartment building that you just stepped on, I guess. Alright, I think we're gonna be playing. Now we're just waiting for TheSilken to ready up. Come on, Silken, get with the program, man.
Yeah. Oh, he wants to see the NS Eisen pick. Let me see if I can find that.
Autumn,
Yes?
you need to cut out that picture
What?
so I can put it.
Oh.
Hey, we're joining the match.
Okay.
Woo! Let's do it.
All right, so here we go. We've swapped tech bases. Players are now, the Marsh Hackers are now in Clan Mechs, and the Afro Stars are in Inner Sphere Mechs. starting on the same sides as far as technologies. Let's see if that makes a difference.
All right, so I'm looking over here on the IS side of things. Bowser and the Battlemaster, large pulse, medium laser, Grasshopper, 6 ER large laser Grasshopper with Selith, 4 ER large laser quick draw with Aerosai, Psychoholic, 4 large pulse laser Battlemaster.
And we're seeing a lot of ER larges as well for the clan side, for the hackers. They did bring Direwolves again. They are Gauss ER large, or Gauss and Pulse Rifle Direwolves, it looks like.
So, as predicted, Uncle Russ is in an Arctic Cheetah. I don't think anybody's surprised by this, but they are kind of working their way up to Theta, dodging some of those medium lasers. I really do like that effect that they did with the tapering off lasers. That's pretty slick. Like, I think it's cool. So, alright, we got Arctic Cheetahs fighting up at Theta, taking a little bit of shots, but the IS team is starting to approach and really taking Theta away from them. They can't get up there and take it
quickly.
They can't risk sitting up there. So
let's see if these Direwolves can get into the action here and make a difference.
So the IS team is setting up their poke positions. Vonka moving up in the Direwolf, taking some good shots downfield here. Not really bothering with cover. He's got a good firing line. That's the thing. Is he's not really taking cover, but he's got a firing lane that anything that pokes out in that firing lane he could punish with those dual Gauss.
Gonna take a peek here on the other side. Look at the inner sphere mechs and see how they're doing trading.
So we do have, it looks like a Raven, no, Blackjack 3 coming around that right side, taking away the protection from Vonka and his crew over here. Like, they can't ignore the guy. They can't ignore him. So because they can't ignore him, it's very difficult to continue working this same firing lane here. And so as they deal with the Blackjack, then those guys can more aggressively peek out in that firing lane and start drilling into Vonka's Direwolf. So he's kind of relying on his team to keep that Blackjack on the right side suppressed. But now the IS group is really starting to take advantage of this this lane, and that's not a very good position for these clanners to be in. Over on the other side of the map here, the Cheetahs are moving up, curving around behind the Battlemasters that are down in the pit. Now those Battlemasters drop down in that pit. They're not going to be very useful for anything besides suppressing these Cheetahs, and as long as these Cheetahs are playing Overwatch, I don't really feel like these guys can go anywhere. So I wonder, you know, if has the call been made that there's 2 Battlemasters completely useless down here. They can't do anything right now. They might be able to make it up that. Let's see if he can wiggle his ass up there.
And that Blackjack in Charlie 5 on the far corner is doing some huge work over here. He is really doing a great job, I think, peeking around this corner. That Blackjack is just so strong right now. And he got the kill. The Direwolf just went down. Vonka went down in the Direwolf from that Blackjack
this guy back here.
The corner.
Yeah, Lord Sky Knight. So they got the Blackjack stacked up on this side now.
Yeah, they've got another Blackjack moved up here, and that is Wooktek. Wooktek. Sorry, I just brutally mispronounced your name, but change it to a better one.
I mean, I almost feel like before Vonka went down, if the call was made that those Battlemasters were out of the fight, they could have maybe pushed up and tried to use numbers.
Yeah.
But that's completely speculation. It's tough to make a call. But now we got those Battlemasters joining the fight at the bottom of the ramp, and they're going to start really quickly taking away these angles that any angle that the clans might have had before. Those Cheetahs need to get down there and just try to do something at this point. They're just conceding it to them. There's not much they can do. Like a group of scared children huddling up in the corner.
They are keeping those Battlemasters out of the fight, though. I mean, they're in essence they're doing their job.
That is true.
There's now 2 dead on the clan side, so this is not good. One of the Direwolves is down into the canyon. He's out of the fight essentially, and this is just not going to look good. And down goes the Hellbringer. This Direwolf now is stuck in the canyon. Those 2 Cheetahs over there are going to be in a lot of trouble.
Absolutely, and Criven just kind of poked out to maybe get an angle on the Raven or something, and got immediately lagged. Uncle Russ goes down in the Cheetah. So, you know, all those people calling 6-0, once again, clanners go down.
The answer.
It doesn't look like that's the 6-0 you're looking for.
and we'll watch Proton try and salvage this game out of nothing. I don't think he's going to be able to do it, and down he goes.
And so we have a 7-1 decision, or 8-1 decision in favor of Inner Sphere. Now, I want to reach out to the chat since we can actually do that. We don't have a delay. Having seen this and stuff, I mean, do you guys feel like I'm completely off base with my assessment that just trying to peek with clanners just isn't going to work against IS at this point? Like, all the stuff I was saying about trying to peek around corners and stuff, that's all IS did here, is play their corners, play their corners, play their corners. That Lord Sky Knight went out there, played his corner. Then he got joined by Wuktek, played the corner. And, you know, eventually all of the safety that the clanners had just dissolved. So am I completely off base saying that I feel like the heaviest clan guys would be doing better staying together and just making a presence and just taking whatever's given to them but dishing it back at the same token?
I think you're right. I think that's what you have to do. I mean, they don't have the speed, the maneuverability. Vorpal's making a good comment here. IS has sort of burn time. They have more agility. I mean, you can't rely on the ability to get out from behind cover, fire, do as much damage as possible, and get back in cover. So
I feel like you got to play without cover. That's your only option. You try to play with cover, you're losing on paper immediately.
Yeah,
you're losing on paper. These mechs just don't seem to be able to handle it. Willie's already in with those.
Yeah, it's tough to say, but I mean, that was kind of the result I think a lot of people expected watching the first half. The IS mechs, again, just were better peeking. And on Canyon, peeking is the strategy. It's the way to go. Unless you can bring a fast brawl deck, which in 2-2-2-2, you clearly can't because you can't bring a fast clan assault mech. You're just not going to be able to out-peak Inner Sphere mechs, I think, with the way the balance is right now.
We're arguing about who used what strikes. I know that the stream, at the very least, saw a strike that appeared to come from the IS side in Tourmaline. But apparently there was a strike on Theta that I completely missed. So that
I
wind
can't
was
say
the
that I
after
saw
stars. I mean, I could always just go back to the replay.
Terragato was making a point that map imbalance could be a factor if you're putting clan on the same spawn both matches. Yeah, I mean, that is a good point.
Yeah, that's valid.
It's certainly valid, but I don't know if necessarily... It certainly seems like watching this that just in the peaking strategy, it doesn't really matter where you are on the map. The clans just don't have the agility and the short duration burn to be able to do it.
Yeah, there we go. Here's the just for the hell of it. Here's the son of a bitch. I gotta do this again. Sub-region. I wish it remembered my sub-regions every single time I did something for my window peeking here. I mean, I love doing this. It's just remember what I tell you to do, please. This is way back on Tourmaline. This is the one that we saw right there. Okay. So those two dyers down there. So that was an airstrike coming across. It didn't hit anybody, so it doesn't really matter. But that's the one we were talking about. I didn't know that there was actually one on Theta that I missed. Yeah. So. Yeah, so the Alpha Stars takes one. So still a strong presence for Inner Sphere. We're going back into Tourmaline, so we'll see what they choose to do. I mean, Clans kind of buttoned up in the in the spikes and stuff, and tried to use a little bit of Overwatch with Selith and a Timber up top and things like that, but couldn't really get much done. IS stayed together, but used their cover and their high mounts and all that jazz. Extra reach.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, I think we're going to propose that the clan mechs try and get out of cover, essentially, and use that power position. As we've mentioned throughout this stream, you just don't have good hard points on the clan mechs in terms of peeking from behind cover. It makes it very, very hard.
Yeah, 4-0 IS is winning, but some people were saying 6-0 Marsh Hackers, and you were wrong. You owe me $5 for being wrong. Oh boy. Well, hopefully, at the very least, you guys are enjoying the show. This is interesting to watch, even if you knew how this was going to turn out. It's interesting to see people do it. I mean, this is the same thing that we ran into with the LRMs versus Meta that Silken ran. Most of us knew exactly what was going to happen, and we weren't exactly surprised. Now, the LRM team, after the team switch, did actually win one, but it's because they brought like 3 LRMers and like a shit ton of brawlers and just one on the brawls. Like the LRMs are great for bait. They baited the enemy team to come in, and then the brawlers came in and won it. So, but yeah, you know, a lot of they're like, oh well, we know clans are now underpowered, not necessarily balanced, but actually underpowered, and so we all knew kind of how this was going to go. But until you put a bunch of people on a team and give it a shot,
yeah. And not only that, but put a bunch of very good players on a team, so you can't say, oh well, you know, that Timberwolf died because he couldn't hit the side of a barn. These guys are very, very good.
Absolutely, and you got to keep in mind too, some people were talking about, oh well, they didn't have 2 of their best pilots, blah blah blah. We just saw them lose 8-1, so
yeah,
maybe the balance is, for player balance, maybe it is decent. So we'll see how the rest of these play out, but that kind of silences that argument, at least for now.
Yeah.
But there's 2 more to play. At least 2 more.
Definitely like what I'm seeing in the chat from some of the guys here. Kamikaze pointing out that if you're going to balance through quirks, which there's some debate whether that's really a good idea or not, but if you're going to balance through quirks, rapid iterative changes, small iterative changes, rather than large sweeping quirk passes are the way to go, I think.
Absolutely. Well, the biggest thing is I think
see that.
Feedback from the community is gold. Now, there's a lot of smoke and noise and crap that the community can throw out there, but the quality feedback is there, and they should know where to find it. So, really, I agree with that 100%. Make a small change, and the community will respond very quickly. You will get instant results every time you make a change. So it's not like you need to make a giant change and wait 2 weeks to see how it pans out. People are smart enough to especially like EMP likes to go out there and find the new meta really quick, and SJR and SRS, and these guys go out there, AS, you know, 228, they all go out there and they find out what is the best combination, you know, and they can give you instant feedback on a change. Now, they could give you a lot of speculative, like maybe that's not a good idea for this, or this reason, and there's value to that as well. But I would almost rather them just make a change, see what happens, get the feedback, because we're going to roll with it. You know, with these smaller changes, you're going to start seeing the team that keeps up on this stuff faster succeeding more. So if you make like 3 or 4 little quirk changes in the middle of like a competitive season, don't worry about us. We're gonna figure out what we need to do to win, as long as you don't change it so like SRMs now do 0 damage or something like that. But even still, then we won't bring SRMs, you know. That's up to the drop commanders and the deck creators. Don't worry about us on that respect. And with small changes, don't worry about what the community thinks. Like, we're not going to be like, oh, you ruined them or something like that. Make the change, We'll give you feedback as to whether we think you're going in the right direction or whether it's working for us. Make another change or revert the change. Don't be afraid to revert changes either. That's if you make a mistake and we tell you made a mistake and a lot of people agree that a mistake was made, then feel free to revert it. They'll make us happy. But I think every single competitive person out there knew that the buffs that the BJ1X got were huge. And I am very happy that you guys went in, after making a big sweeping gigantic change, went in and stepped it back a little bit, and that's awesome. Pretty sure everybody agrees that you need to go and step it back a little bit more. That's what we would like to see. We'll tell you the mechs that are completely ridiculous, and more importantly, we will tell you the mechs that are completely garbage. Make changes, and let's see if we can bring these guys on the same level. Instead of it just being a new set of overpowered mechs every 3 or 4 months, let us give you some feedback, and let's see if we can get things a little bit closer. And because we like choices, we like having choices, we like having the ability to bring more than one mech to a particular situation. And then you can play those mechs to their strengths. Like, one mech might be slightly better in this area, one might be slightly better in this area. You don't have to be afraid to take one or the other.
All right, well, here we go. We're back in the battle here, Tourmaline. So let's see what these two teams decide to do. Taking a quick look here at the clan side, we've got a couple Stormcrows, a couple Cheetahs. Not a big surprise there.
Gauss Large Pulse, Gauss ER Mediums, Gauss Large Pulse. Can't click on that guy. Gauss ER Mediums. So Clanners might be going maybe fast ER Medium Brawl. They brought Executioners. They brought 2 Executioners. That might be a mid-range, Gaussy, good old-fashioned Brawl deck right there.
Yeah, no surprise from the Inner Sphere. They are ER larges across the board. And really no reason not to do that. This looks like they're going to do the same strategy. They got a quick draw RSA going right up to the top of the spires here behind the ring, getting that Overwatch. That's what we saw out of Proton, and up the previous drop 2 on Tourmaline.
We got the Stalker and the Battlemaster coming up on that left side. Yeah, they're going to try and take away any angles. But, are clans running a poke deck here? Like, they might be doing a little bit of toss, but they can't sustain this, so hopefully nobody's stream sniping.
A 6 ER large laser grasshopper.
That was last round we saw that too.
Man, that is a lot.
It worked. It freaking worked. It worked. Did its job. That's amazing.
Look at how hot that mech is.
That's clearly like a shoot and then go do something else for a while kind of mech. But when you do shoot, it's gonna hurt.
This is your drinking mech. You pull the trigger, take a sip. Pull the trigger, take a sip.
Alright, so we are seeing something definitely different. Hopefully that guy doesn't accidentally step on Epsilon. He did a good job skirting it.
And these clan mechs are just getting ripped apart, I think, right now, coming across at range. They definitely need to close the distance quickly here. And I don't know if they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, this is rough. They've got a really good firing line over there, and all of the time spent maneuvering and not closing the distance to your opponent is time spent where you're losing armor. And so they've kind of swung around Epsilon, and they've been taking constant fire the entire time. Mm-hmm. And they haven't even gotten into optimal weapon range yet. And the whole time that this is occurring, the IS mechs are rotating away.
Yeah, they're just taking a punishment. I would have liked, I think, to seen them just roll straight across the center of the map through Theta.
I think that's what they really had to do. So now here we are, sitting at 80%, and we haven't even gotten that much closer. But at the same token, IS is now standing their ground. They have to stand their ground, and so here's where it's going to come down to coring out mechs as fast as possible. So they're working Proton down pretty well in the Executioner, and he does go down. They got some good shots on J-bombs, but now here we go. We are getting into brawl range. Now this isn't small pulse, SRM style brawl. This is ER medium laser Gauss brawl. So hopefully they got some good shots downfield. They did beat up on the Battlemaster pretty well, and the Stalker
And
is getting
Psychoholic
completely
just got ripped
rocked.
in half. By...
Hey, Psychoholic's here. Didn't see that before. Welcome. So the two Executioners are now down. We've got the Blackjack and the Raven swinging hard around, but they do have Overwatch. Solitude in the Timber sitting in the back, kind of taking away that ability for them to just
One of
hit
the
him in the back.
Battlemasters just went down for the Intersphere. These Stormcrows are doing work at the front lines here.
So they are definitely swarming around, and obviously heat is running up on the IS side. 2
more IS mechs just went down, and Kriven kills himself overheating. Gets trades a kill for a kill there.
We have 3 dead IS mechs and 4 dead. I'm assuming, yeah, Silken's still alive. So yeah, 4 dead clan mechs to 3 IS mechs. Wonka does go down in his Stormcrow. Salama's doing not too good over here against the fresh Raven and fresh Blackjack. He's working the quick draw down, but a bad overheat, and he is finished. So now all we've got left is an Arc Cheetah and then Solitude sitting in the back doing the Overwatch. They might be able to take out the Raven before getting taken down,
That
but
is a fresh Raven, though. It's going to take a while to get him down.
yeah, the Solitude gets taken down, and of course the Cheetah is going to become next. A little bit closer. They got in there.
Yeah, definitely got a little bit of a closer fight in
I
there.
think that kind of shows a little bit of promise for the clan brawlers, but this map is tough to do that on. And at the same token, once they did close in, it's ER mediums Gauss instead of like small pulse SRMs.
And they were facing an ER large deck, so you can't necessarily say that brawler versus brawler clans when we saw in drop 3 that didn't work. So maybe clan shorter range brawlers might have been better against IS really long range mechs.
Hopefully you have the scoreboard because I crashed.
I do have the scoreboard up. So it looks like the quick draw, again, 499 best damage on the team. Salet in the Grasshopper 5H with 6 ER larges did 493. That is such a hot build, but he clearly makes it work. Raven 4X for Core Knight, another good drop. And for the best clan, we had Solitude and the Timberwolf, the Overwatch mech, with 357, and Salama doing 330 in the Stormcrow. So those 2 Executioners, unfortunately, Proton, Bearclaw, did 29 and 17 damage respectively. Just basically, they were the bait to try and get their teammates in range. I would have liked to have seen them take a more direct path. I think that might have also helped.
Let's do this. Absolutely. And let's bring up the... I'm going to bring up your stream this time.
Yeah, that's tough to say. They did better that time, but
I feel like the brawl could be strong, but I mean, I'm really leaning in the direction of saying they need clan mechs need a hand now. I mean, a lot of people will be like, fine, let them roast. You know, they deserve it after a whole year, or year plus of being overpowered. But no, that's not what we're not gonna do that. We're going to say balance. We want balance. Balance the clan mechs. We want them to be viable, but we don't want them to be ridiculous.
Was that you or Autumn that did that? That was pretty good.
Autumn.
Yeah, actually, I just really concentrated, and that happened. So we'll leave it at that.
But yeah, I mean, definitely I think that an earlier close on the distance would have helped them a little bit here.
Yeah.
Being down to 80% is rough. Dude,
Yep.
the freaking flashlights. It's like a guy waving around a flashlight in a fog. It's so weird looking. But, you know, closing the distance I think would help because they didn't really start their actual final approach until they were all at 80% easily. They probably spread pretty well, but I definitely see a lot of components that are in the red. They took those 2 Executioners down pretty well before they could really get into effective range. So the down 2 mechs finally get in there and start doing some work being down, but You know,
It's
that's
too little, too late.
Yeah.
Really, there was so much damage already taken by the clan team, and they had lost both their assault mechs, basically doing 0 damage. You know, they were down 2 when they got to the brawl, and while those 2 Stormcrows did a good job, and I mean the Stormcrow still is a good mech, I think. Like I said before, the difficult thing to say is if they had gone up against a similar ranged IS deck, I don't think the answer would have been the same. I don't think it would have even been close.
If they were up against Alice's and stuff like that? No.
Well, not even a brawl. I mean, because this wasn't really a brawl clan deck. This was a medium range deck,
True.
and even just against, you know, like a medium laser blackjacks and things. I mean, it would have been, I think, not nearly as close.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that what we saw here, though, is they really got in IS's face, and we've been saying that all night, that these clan mechs, they're not peekers. They're not good peekers.
Yeah.
And so now they're using their strength, which is just get in their face and just drill them. And we saw an improvement. Now, it's not, obviously it wasn't a win, and I think part of that could have been just taking a better approach or doing something a little bit more sneaky, potentially. But bottom line, they did better because they got in their face, but they still didn't do good enough to get the win. And a lot of that has to do with the map and the direction they took to get where they wanted to go, and yada yada yada. But I still think with the range side of things, they could have done better with the just get out there and just start playing whack-a-mole, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but I
see,
still think that if they do decide to try and bring clans back up a little bit, because I really do feel like there's a discrepancy here, but if they do try to bring clans up a bit, don't fucking just go give them 30% cooldown, 30% heat reduction, blah, 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 blah. Baby steps. Let's do baby steps.
Baby steps, yep. I like what Criven's saying as well in chat. If you're bringing a full clan deck, you just have so few options that you really struggle. He pointed out that having a Timberwolf or a Stormcrow in a mixed deck can help your team, and I think that's correct. I mean,
Yeah.
the advantage you still retain is that you've got a, you know, like for example, on brawlers, even for a poke deck, the Timberwolf is still fast for its class, and the Stormcrow is still fast for its class. So you have kind of that more maneuverable mechs, and I think if you kind of sprinkle in some light mechs, it's like how we still see Arctic Cheetahs as lights. I mean, they've got the ECM, they're good brawlers, but when you're forced to go clan versus IS, like in CW or an event like this, you just have so few options that are really any good at all. I mean, you got the Stormcrow, the Arctic Cheetah, maybe the Hellbringer, the Timberwolf, maybe the Ebon Jag, and the Direwolf, and then everything else you're really, and even those you're really, you know, kind of, is this really what we want to bring? It's hard to do a full clan deck now, I think, and that's unfortunate, but hopefully PGI will adjust some things, but as we've been saying all night, slight adjustments would be far better than these sweeping changes. You know, rather than spinning the wheel of viability, I'd rather see, you know, the wheel become a great big, you know, wall of viability.
Absolutely. And, you know, I do agree that a mixed deck does complement, you know, it can work very well. Because, you know, all of the shortfalls of the clans can be filled with the IS mechs, but they do have some advantages that work pretty well. But I thought that was great. It was you would look good with a beard. I think you would look good with a beard. But yeah, all clan, that's tough. But you know what? We still have to address it though, because especially with CW, you got all clan versus all IS a lot, and so it's still definitely a concern. And we said at the very beginning that this isn't going to be about trying to figure out what specific clan mechs are good and what specific clan mechs are bad. We're just kind of showing that in trying to get it as even as possible style of match, an all clan group versus all IS group, who comes out on top. And currently we are 5-0 in favor of IS. And the guy is saying, don't do 2-2-2-2. Well, at least you're going to come away with it saying that because it's a 2-2-2-2 drop, maybe, you know, clans are at a disadvantage, well, then that's something that should probably be fixed. And so that's the point of this. This isn't a competitive match. This is not a competitive match whatsoever. This is meant to kind of bring out and I guess educate the public as to what is and is not working for these two specific groups of tech. Yeah. And then hopefully somebody can take that and run with it and make suggestions, make a giant post on Reddit saying this is what I think based on what was demonstrated here or something like that.
And as we mentioned earlier, I think right at the beginning of the match, this is not necessarily intended to be the be-all, end-all.
No.
Clans.
It's another tool
terrible.
in your toolbox.
Yeah, it's another bit of evidence towards, you know, that you all can go use in your forum debates. If you're debating with the guys on TeamSpeak, whatever you're doing, this is just another little piece of evidence saying, you know, supporting one or the other opinion, whatever opinion you might have. So we're not trying to tell you, to force you to say this is how it is, period, end of discussion. We're just trying to provide maybe some more insight to people, and hopefully, you know, things. Like I said, the biggest thing for me that I would love to see now is for the wheel of viability to stop being a wheel and start being, you know, a wall, or just, hey, you know, some mechs are good at this, but you know what? Those mechs that aren't good at brawling, they're good at something else. And that's, I think, the ideal state of MechWarrior Online, and hopefully we get there at some point.
And the biggest thing is we just want to spur conversation. I mean, we wouldn't be doing something like this if it didn't mean that... I mean, we can't take it all the way with this event. It's not like we can spur change all by itself. It's going to really come down to the community taking this one piece of information and doing something with it. Like, hey, based on some of these things that we saw, maybe this is happening, or maybe this is happening, you know? That's going to be up to you guys who are watching and stuff to take it to that next level, for sure. Looks like everybody's getting readied up, and we will be moving into Drop 6 on Frozen City Night.
Like Sulla in chat here, yes, absolutely. Give in to the nerfs. Release your fear of the word nerf and accept it. And you might find a better balance lays beyond. It's very zen.
Very zen. I'm totally keeping that placeholder just in case, like, you have a cold or something someday. I'm gonna put that up again.
Do you want me to record a track of, like, common phrases that I just say?
Absolutely. So, come on, Vonka, ready up. We're waiting on you. I just noticed that they're perfectly at 520 tons across the board. Was that intentional?
I don't know, but there you go. Tonnage equal as well. Alright, I've now ruined chat by shaving. I apologize, everyone.
Here we go. Nobody's saying me clans are so bad. We're saying that they're not balanced right now. Shit went too far in one direction or the other, so... I'm sure some clan mechs are just fine, but not enough of them are good enough to survive in a 8v8 clans versus IS match. So, large pulse, medium pulse, Banshee, 3M, Black Knight, large pulse, medium pulse, AC-20 SRM, Atlas S. Only one Atlas S from IS this time.
And we're seeing the same sort of brawl deck, Brawling Timberwolves, a full 6 Ultra AC5 Daka Direwolf on Proton, small pulse Stormcrows, one of my favorite builds. Another, actually not a Daka Direwolf, I guess they're going to use Vonka as an Overwatch with a Gauss large pulse ER medium Direwolf. The rest of them are running small pulse and SRMs though. So we've got some wicked brawlers on the clan side in terms of just maneuverability and firepower, but let's see if they can take down the structure and the armor.
Immediate UAV goes up and immediately gets shot right back down. Selith taking some peeks over with his blackjack, see if anything can hit effectively. Kriven and the Arctic Cheetah getting dangerously close to the dropship. but they have a good angle to flush him right back out, and he gets to take quite a bit of damage. 35% damage. See how bad he's looking right now. Oof. Lost an arm. He did lose a small pulse laser from that. Do have fire starter going down here. Uncle Russ is giving him what for? Get out of my lower city.
Giving him what for? I like that phrase.
But so far we've just got some pretty decent trades going back and forth, but I would say mostly in favor of IS currently.
Yeah, I want to see how Wonka's doing here. Wonka, I should say. I keep wanting to say Wonka. Is doing here with this this ranged direwolf. He's just kind of waiting for someone to peek, but it looks like the inner sphere mechs are moving closer to lower city now. I don't know if he's aware of that or not, but he's not in a great position.
So we had Solitude kind of peeking up on Saddle a little bit, trying to get some sort of firing lane, but just got met with heavy resistance from Taylor Dropship and Lower City. So percent swinging heavily in favor of Inner Sphere.
Yeah, and I think the longer the clan mechs wait, the more armor they're going to lose. They've got so short range with the small pulse builds that, you know, you got to get in there. You know, it's not like the IS mechs are really long range, but they certainly have more.
So Selith has a really good overwatch here on Saddle. Anything that peeks up over that wall is going to get met with a blast to the face. I bet you the Stormcrow is going to get a little bit of a poke here. Oh, he took this extra step up, and there we go. Get out of there. He even gets a second little scratch in.
And Vonko's getting himself cord CT now in the direwolf. He's been trying to provide overwatch, but again, those low mounted weapons.
Oh, Vonko goes down from that blackjack. Celis sitting up in the saddle with a beautiful vision down that lane and just drilled him in the chest.
Take a look at what he's seeing right now. He is fresh as well. He is just sitting up there, easy pickings, and these clan mechs, like I said, they've got a brawl. And they're a brawl deck, a short-range brawl deck, and they're getting torn apart.
And then here comes the Atlas to finish the job. He is coming through saddle hard, completely fresh. Clan mechs are very hurt. It's going to be, in my opinion, impossible to take him down and then the rest of the team with him. So he might fall, but he's going to take somebody with him right here.
And the clans have gotten themselves into a little bit of trouble. They're now stuck kind of all in the saddle, or sorry, in the buildings, and not a lot of places where they can focus fire. They're all dispersed throughout the map here.
Yeah, they are kind of backing up into each other now, but hitting every which target. You know, there's just... This battle was lost in the trade phase, and that was just pure cleanup at the end there. So 8-0 victory in favor of Inner Sphere. Ties it in at 6-0. Now,
there we go.
Silken, throw in chat. Were you planning on doing something... Oh, look, another crash. Thanks, MWO.
That's okay, I'll take a look at the sweet Salet there in the Blackjack 1X with 519 damage. Bowser and the Black Knight, which is becoming a very popular mech, with 572. Psychoholic Banshee, 470. Just a lot of damage going across the board. Proton did do 333 damage in his 6 Ultra AC5 Direwolf. Kind of what you'd expect out of a mech like that. And Uncle Russ did 300 damage in the Arctic Cheetah, but just, you know, not enough. Just not enough. Those two Timberwolves, unfortunately, I don't think ever really got in range. 66 and 191. It just seemed like if you're playing Clan and you're going to do Brawl, you got to be pedal to the metal. You cannot allow for any sort of time where you're under, you know, you're in a trading situation. You just don't have the range anymore. You have to be so short range that you just can't trade. So it's certainly tough, I think, right now. With all the structure bonuses that the IS has, they can bring those medium laser builds, those medium pulse laser builds that just have a little bit more range and still be able to do a significant amount of damage.
Autumn, if you could you do another giveaway for me, please? We're definitely giving things away to people who are engaged in chat and all that jazz, so congratulations, Trev. You're gonna win yourself a mech bay. Trying to get back in the game here. Did he say that they were gonna do something?
Looks like there's a little bit of discussion going on whether they'll have enough players to still do another drop. Does not look like we're gonna have another one, but I'll stick around for a little bit. Just keep an eye on the chat here.
Make sure, people, that you do give me a follow, because I will be, of course, shoutcasting MRBC Season 7, and any competitive matches that pop up. Might be doing some of the Mercstar Invitational and stuff like that, so if you want to catch those matches, and they will most likely be against some very good teams and really good matchups, so if you want to see more stuff like this, definitely give me a follow, and we will continue to provide that to you guys free of charge.
And it looks like they are going to call it here, so that's the last of our 6 drops. I think TheSilken might want to have the final word here, but
we meeting up
we
somewhere?
are done with the actual drops for tonight.
Sure. So, and yeah, we are gonna try our best to do at least one EU match for MRBC. I think that would be really fun. I do want to showcase those teams because EU has some really solid teams. It's all been purely just availability and stuff like that. I've got a kid and all that jazz, and so, but my wonderful wife Autumn Doll over here, who has been moderating my chat, has been super understanding and will continue to support my shoutcasting endeavors and all that jazz. But yeah, we're going to try and get an EU match in there, at least one. I think they deserve it. And at the same token, if any of you EU guys, if you're watching and you guys are interested in shoutcasting and stuff like that, feel free to reach out to the MRBC staff and Doyle and all those guys over there, and or just post on the forums in the MRBC area and say, hey, I'm interested. I want to be an EU shoutcaster, because they could definitely use some shoutcasters on the EU side, and I'll definitely help you guys out, provide any insight and tools that I can and stuff like that. We want more of you guys. We want more people enthusiastic about this game and what it has to offer. But so yeah, give me a follow. Also, while you're at it, you might as well follow MRBC League on Twitch as well. That's where we'll be shoutcasting the actual MRBC matches. That way you can get the notifications when those start up. Otherwise, we'll be posting matches on Reddit. I'll be posting up my stream schedule on my Twitch, Twitter. NG&G has been doing a fantastic job pitching our events and stuff like that. PGI continues to do a good job tossing our stuff out on the front page and things like that. So it's excellent having a lot of good support, but watch out for our matches, and we'll try to get those advertised. As for upcoming, I think the only thing that I currently have scheduled, and it is confirmed, next Sunday, this is the first you guys are hearing of it, next Sunday, 9:30 Eastern Time, we will have Smoke Jays, 42 Smoke Jays versus SIG in MRBC preview for Season 7. So that's our second preview match. That's going to be a good one. Those are two very good teams. It's going to be really exciting. So I think Silken wants to speak with you all, give the last word here. Where is he located right now, MD?
Yeah, I'm working on getting you that link in just a minute.
So I'm going to hop over to that team speak, and we'll do a little bit of a post-game interview with the person who organized the event, TheSilken, and everybody should give a shout out to Silken for putting this together. It's not easy running something like this, especially when you have to pull the best players from freaking every single team around, essentially, and get them all in the same place at the same time. That's pretty damn impressive. So, mad shout out to Silken for taking the time to come up with something like this. So I think I do have that bookmarked, so I'm going to go in there right now. TeamSpeak's probably super quiet, so let me know if you guys have any issues with audio levels and stuff.
Switch to his VS Clan commentator booth.
How's it going, gentlemen? I'm gonna mute you on Skype, MD.
Silken's got to get his mic available, and then he'll be ready to go.
Volume mixer, TeamSpeak up, Skype down. But yeah, congratulations to all the winners of all the giveaways.
Disconnected from
Make sure you guys give me a follow, and I'll send those all out after the stream is completed. Yeah, the best thing about the MRBC League channel is it's supported by multiple streamers.
We'll have his announcements here.
Can you guys hear me?
I can. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to turn you up. 1 second. Try talking again.
Yeah, my mic's kind of busted.
No problem. I think we got you loud and clear. So, what did you think of that? Did it pretty much turn out as you expected? Did you think Clans would put up more of a fight?
I thought they would have put up a little bit more, but I don't know. The quirks are very strong, so not surprising.
Absolutely. So, you had a bit of a last word you wanted to toss out there?
Yeah, I have some other events planned. Basically, I just want to see if would be interested in it. You know, if I want to put the effort towards it, or if I would, scrap it or put it on the shelf or something.
Yeah, you had something like a tournament you're thinking about running, right?
Hold on. That's the last one.
Oh, I just gave it away! Spoilers!
Spoilers.
Ruined! Alright, we'll get on it then.
The first one is a sort of a mini league. It's an old school event, 8v8 with only PPC, autocannons, machine guns, SRMs, stuff like that. And then people bring, like Victors and the good old meta shit that people for all the clans and all that.
Cool.
That makes sense. All right. Then the other one is more towards the lore heads, because no one really does anything for the lore heads. So I was thinking if people wanted like some of the historical like BattleTech like scenarios or battles, if they wanted some like stock mechs.
Okay, like a stock mech just event, or
Sort of, yeah, but with not just like 5-on-5 or 8v8 like that, where you bring stock mechs, but more like, all right, well, this side on here had like 10 mechs, and the other side had like 6 mechs.
almost
just,
like
go from
recreating
there,
battles from lore. Are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Just like a,
Would it be
a
open to the
mock-up.
community, or are you gonna try and get some of the best pilots to duke it out again?
No, this one, it's for the lore heads. It'd be anyone who wanted to do it would.
Cool. That could be interesting.
And then the last one was a 1v1 league that I would like to start working on, but the thing is I need a lot of people to help out with it. Let me find the details that I keep.
Yeah, I guess with all these different events, are you putting these up anywhere where people can, I guess, voice their opinion, or where can they best share
I'll
with you?
I'll make a thread on MWO for each of them, probably, and then if people post it and there seems to be a fair amount of interest, then I'll start working on it and get it organized and get a date set and everything.
Cool. Well, that sounds.
Find the thing.
Yeah, I know you've given us kind of a little bit of a preview of what that might look like in the future, and it certainly sounds interesting. I would love to see what the community thinks of that if you posted that, see how much interest you get with some of the things that you're proposing. Could be pretty cool stuff.
I mean, it sounded
I
to
do,
me
yeah.
like you were going to go a little bit further beyond it just being a traditional 1v1 tournament or something like that, and kind of flesh it out, make it a little bit higher production value kind of thing, right? Try and
Yeah,
make it a
the
little bit more
idea was-
exciting for the viewers and stuff like that. Focus more on the shoutcasting side of things and all that jazz.
Yeah, see, because the thing is that this game needs a lot of content. You know, and PGI isn't really stepping up. You know, I mean, they have that tournament that they announced, but they haven't said anything else on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the team tournament. We all know that there's only like 4 teams really that have a chance of winning it. Everyone else is just kind of tossed out there. Well, this one, basically the idea was that it'd be a 1v1 year-round league divided up into seasons. And you'd have ranked seasons for part of it and then exhibition ones for another part of it. And basically the idea would be that every match would have a commentator and be streamed. We would have a pregame and postgame for each of them. Pregame, you'd have the commentators bringing up, for example, the player stats, which are on I like to call them player cards, which have their name, their unit, their personal emblem if they want one.
Can we trade them?
their match,
I want to trade player cards.
Trade.
I mean, you could always like print them out, I guess, and then like keep them on your wall. But there's
Everyone
just people
tries
in
to
game.
I want a
holographic
Selith card. Get a
Are you guys
proton
able to
card.
bring up the image I posted?
Yeah, sure. You threw it in chat? Or
I think I can get
I'll
it.
do it again.
oh, okay. Here, let me pull
Yeah,
that
that
up real
one.
quick.
You got it, Bandit.
Yeah, let me just save that quick. I click
Yeah, it's
save.
just it's just a mock-up of what my idea of a player card should be. So, I mean, I'd get it improved. Get like a real artist to go and make it so it looks better and better organized. But it does the job for now, at least.
Sure. I mean,
And
so
then,
I mean, this really kind of is going to showcase a lot more about the individual pilot that's playing, give a little bit of a history, and allow people to kind of follow along with their exploits, which I think is really cool. You know, a lot of things that we see right now is people say, "Oh, well, EMP this, SGR this," and a lot more of the community or the competitive group can say, okay, well, Selith this, Proton this, Magician this, but this is a good way to push that out to the rest of the community who doesn't necessarily play in comp but are interested in watching exciting matches and things like that.
I mean, there would still be a leaderboard and rankings and everything, but that's pretty much in the rank season. And then in the exhibition season, anyone can really come in if they want, and do whatever. I mean, they're not going to get their stats aren't going to get kept for the exhibition season. They just want to shoot up and not have to worry about anyone be like, oh well, you're only ranked 235 on the leaderboard. They can just come in and shoot it. Now, I do have plans that, if it were to happen, to do, like, prizes, and I have, like, a whole, like, breakdown of, if we have this many people, these would be the prize levels and everything. But the only way I can realistically think of getting prizes would be if you had, tickets that you sold for,
Hopefully you're paying
the
attention, Silken. You got artists throwing themselves at you.
Yeah.
I'll check the thread here after I'm done talking, but if I start reading it, I'll get thrown off track and I'll just get I'll get lost. So I'm already lost. Where was I? Tickets, yeah.
I ruined it.
So the way I would do it is I'd have the ranked tickets cost a little bit more. I'm thinking $5 for the first ticket, and what that would do is that would buy you into one of the 4 weight classes that you chose: light, medium, heavy, or assault. And then after that, every subsequent ticket is $2. So if you want to be also in, like, if you picked heavy for your first one, you pay $5, and the second one, if you wanted, medium, you'd pay $2, and then the third one is also $2. So if you want to be an assault, okay. And then the last one is half off, and it's $1. So at max you're paying $10, and you get to play in all 4 of them. And what it does is you pull it, and then you look at how many people signed up for each general, weight class category, and then you go and you look at the chart. Okay, there's this many people. Here are the prizes, and then the top so many people, depending on how many of them there, get a prize. And then I was thinking also have some secondary prizes that are smaller, like like a week premium time, maybe 2 weeks, a couple hundred MC. If NGNG were to help, maybe like a coffee mug or a T-shirt. And just toss those out randomly to other people, so that if they're not in the top like 5 or top 3, that they still have a chance of getting something.
So what it really sounds like, and like I said, I hope to see this on the forums, sort of thing, see how the community kind of responds to this proposal. To me, it sounds like you're really going for what a Solaris in MWO really should be. 1v1s, working your way kind of up through the ranks, kind of making a name for yourself, sort of thing. To me, that's what this proposal sounds like. I think it's kind of cool. I think that would be neat to have the best players in the game, or even the best players in the game. Obviously, people know a lot of who they are, but even like kind of that underdog, maybe doesn't get a lot of recognition, come up through the ranks, kind of in this Solaris sort of play, and make a name for himself. That would be pretty neat.
Plus, if you can set the groundwork now for something like this, and if it's successful, it sounds to me like Paul's thinking about putting something in there for like smaller 4v4, 1v1, 2v2 arenas, and that would just complement this even more, and you'd already have the groundwork in place.
Yeah. I had something I was going to say, but I lost it.
I keep ruining it. I'm a ruiner.
What was it? Ah, crap. In a way, but the only way this would work, though, with what I have planned, for example, I have also, I didn't mention it yet, would be customized intro videos for each player. So, like, if Proton and Solitude had a match in pre-game, you would have a little quick intro video for each of them. It would you ever play Armored Core? You ever play any of those games?
Not personally, no.
I have, yeah.
Well, it's just like a quick little break, like sort of like a made up, like one of those, like, what are they called? Like personnel files or something. And you just go over it like real quickly and tell them like blowing up stuff, and then you bring out the player cards and break it all down. That shows like their mech and everything, and then they fight, and then afterwards you have the commentators break it down and then invite them in for interviews, and then move on to the next match. And you do that however many days of the week you need to get everyone done. You make sure the season ends on time, and then you switch over to the exhibition one where everyone can join in. You can throw in some other crazy stuff. The main purpose of the exhibition one would be to raise a little bit more money for the ranked one, so you could have better prizes for it. And see what else. Let me scroll.
Yeah, this really does sound like a Solaris in lore to me.
I'm not going to take the name because just in case
That's
they want
fine,
to use it.
yeah.
But it is based off of it with a little Armored Core thrown in. It's sort of like a fusion of the MechWarrior 4 Polaris matches and the Armored Core simulator arenas that they have. Let's see, and then in addition to the primary categories, which are the weight ones, light, medium, heavy, assault, you could have I call them specialist ones, where you could have you open up one of them so that it and have it change. So for example, you could have brawling. You're only allowed to use brawling weapons, or you could have sniping, where it's all pinpoint weapons, or you could do only ballistics, or only missiles, or dock, or whatever. So then you all have, in addition to the weight classes, you have more restrictive builds. So then you can see, okay, well, this person may not be so good when it comes to building a more like meta 1v1 mech, but when it comes to like using ballistics or a specific play style, they do a lot better there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different opportunities for how you could introduce some different modes or play styles into it. Definitely sounds interesting.
For sure.
Yeah, the kicker though is I need a couple things. I need at least 4 to 6 dedicated streamers who can do it at least 2 or 3 times a week for a couple hours. I need some media people, you know, like artists. Keep thinking of like Ickfish with his, you know, TMMC or TMC media or whatever to make the videos.
Oh, yeah,
they wouldn't be
Top
they
Game
wouldn't
Media
have to be
crew.
long. They just had to be short, you know, like little
Yeah.
player intros. But yeah, I mean it would be a lot of work. So you know, before I were to start working on it, I want to make sure that there
That's something
is,
the community
you
is
know, an
interested
audience
in.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, definitely get those posted out there. Get the links out on Reddit and stuff like that. I'll definitely toss those around during my shoutcast and stuff to say, go see, show your support if it's something you're interested in. That'll give you a better idea whether it's something worth working towards or not. So, cool. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on? Otherwise, I think we're going to probably wrap it up here.
Nah, I'm good.
Cool.
Other than that, you guys did, you know, thanks for helping out with it.
Oh, no problem, man. And thank you for running the event. It's always a thrill to see something new and things like that. Kind of break up the typical, just plain old comp stuff. And seeing all these really good pilots all out on the field at the same time was definitely fantastic. So thanks for putting that together for us. And I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I might hop back on later and do some streaming, just shooting at some shit. So if you guys want to come by and hang out, that'd be cool. But definitely give me a follow MRBC League, and we'll see you guys later.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks, guys.